We're going to be talking about marketing, about automation, and more importantly, about how to actually close leads, convert leads into real business. You and I both know that in today's world, there's more leads than are probably actual real opportunities. As we see leads being sold over and over again. We're going to be discussing not only that concept, but how you mastering this concept and having the right technology to help you to do it will allow you to be a real value add to those key referral partners called real estate agents. And real estate agents back to loan officers that you want to have that will help you to grow your business. Stay with us, folks. This is going to be a great episode today. The big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry with crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we simultaneously seek success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddard, and this is the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm excited to bring to today's episode Spencer Dusebout. He is the CEO and founder of Aidium, which is a technology that serves the mortgage loan officer industry. We're going to get into that, but what I want you to learn from Spencer today are, again, the principles that will make you wildly valuable, not just to your own clients, but to the professionals around you who can send you your ideal clients all day long. Spencer, such a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your backstory. Let me just kind of share this. One part that I love about it is that at a very early age, was it 16, that you created a nonprofit that was designed to bring clean water to countless people. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think at the core of Think Bigger Real Estate is thinking bigger than real estate, is that our careers are not an end in and of themselves, but they're a means to help us to do great things in the world. So talk to us a little bit about that. I think that will warm us all up to who Spencer is at the core.
Yeah, absolutely. No, love that. And yeah, at the age of 16, I was fortunate enough to help start the nonprofit Hands for Others, which was essentially like a crowdfunding platform to allow high school and college students the opportunity to raise funds and awareness in order to help solve the world's water crisis. And this was sort of like before the GoFundMes of the world existed. And to make a long story short, it really took off. We did projects in 17 countries around the world. Hundreds of thousands of people got clean water sort of through those efforts. I've always been sort of the serial entrepreneur type, if you will. Learned so much through that experience, really fell in love with the technology that we had created to help solve sort of problems at scale. Dabble with different startup interests, and eventually sort of found myself into this sort of property tech sector, which is all things based around a real estate transaction. Really happy to be involved in this space. I mean, it's one of the most, the most important purchase of anyone's life, and to be able to be a part of that and help that go smoother for everyone involved is, I think, a great goal for all of us to have and share.
I love it, Spencer. Just so the folks at home get a chance to understand the magnitude of H4O. By the way, that was the group that brought clean water, help for others to 250,000 people, right, in 17 countries around the world. Like, talk about making a difference. And you started this at the age of 16. It's like Doogie Howser. I don't even know if you recognize that. That's probably a name that's far kind of dates myself. But those of you that are older like me will probably understand that term. But yeah, at a very early age, you're making a significant impact in the lives of people, and now continuing to do that. Let's talk a little bit about kind of marketing. Obviously, you serve the mortgage industry. I happen to run a company called Pro Insight. Pro Insight teaches professionals how to collaborate. So rather than getting business just from the end consumer, we teach real estate agents, mortgage loan officers, attorneys, financial advisors how to get business from each other. Because when it's teed up from another professional, and you walk in edified, it's yours to lose as opposed to yours to have to chase. And so that's what we do at Pro Insight. So I'm fascinated by this conversation of what you do in the sense of helping mortgage loan officers and all of us here today listening, how to really understand this concept of marketing, automation, lead conversion. Because again, once we nail it for our own business, now we get to go offer that as a value add to these other professional partners who, again, can bring us tremendous value in the form of our ideal clients all day long. So let's dive right in. Talk to us about, like, just at a very simple level, what's the goal of marketing? Like, why do you believe marketing exists, and kind of what is the purest form of marketing?
Yeah, I think marketing exists to sort of position yourself in a way where people want to transact with you. Um, and in this space, it's, buy a house with you or trust you to do your loan, or, you mentioned kind of, financial advisor, trust you with your money, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I think at the heart of marketing, we have to ask ourselves a real honest question and look at ourselves in the mirror. Why would someone want to do business with me as opposed to somebody else? Um, and I think one of the things we really focus on at Adium is, helping you provide a best in class experience for your customers in a sense. And by a byproduct, a best in class experience for whoever the person that gave you the referral. In other words, they trusted you, they gave you a referral, maybe they know you, or like they're part, family member or something like that. Well, can you provide a best in class experience for them so that way then they go out and tell other people, hey, look, you should really work with Justin or with Spencer because this is sort of what they did for me. It was super seamless and an amazing experience. And so I think there's a lot to unpack with marketing, but I think the two places that I like to think of at ADM is what's the why? Like, why would someone want to work with you? And for us, it's using technology just to make sure that the process goes super, super smoothly. Everyone understands what's going on throughout the transaction. And that's going to help drive repeat business and referrals for sure.
I think that there's a bit of a mental block that some people have, which is, look, I'm a very personal professional. I don't want to use too much technology because I don't want to have it seem impersonal, right? And I think when done correctly, uh, technology doesn't replace us; it enhances us, it extends us, it allows us to be ever present and ever available, which is one of the components that people want from professionals. Is that they want to access the information, the knowledge that you have when they need it, and they want you to be present for them when they need you to be. Yet we all know that as small business owners, like it's unrealistic to be available and present to all people at all times, right? Or if we are, we have a tiny business that's completely unprofitable, right? So once we get to the point where we actually have customers and clients and we're sought out enough, we can't let that diminish the client experience that we have. And so we have to lean on good automation. We have to not only be present for our prospective clients, but for our current clients. Would you agree with that? Is that accurate saying? Is it there's this kind of battle between, well, I don't want to be too automated, and yet creating some sort of automation and marketing that's actually just an extension of you as opposed to a replacement of you?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and I'll give a couple examples there, but I think just in general, I mean, you're totally right. I think realtors and loan officers are probably some of the few professionals that will pick up their phone day or night, not even knowing who the number is. Right, it's not in their contacts, and they pick it up. That speaks to the nature of the work that's being done. Right, it's like did some crazy condition come up to get a loan approved? Right, we're trying to close on time. Trying to get all everything together, like as far as our um, you know all the documentation on the real estate side. And so I think it just sort of speaks to the nature of what we're doing, and we have to realize that um, it's great to provide that level of personalized service, but at the same time, like there are just things like there's boxes we need to check on every transaction. And so you know for instance, if a loan comes back as conditionally approved, there are conditions that we need to work on to get approved. You might be in the middle of talking to a couple of other new prospective clients or something like that. I mean, why not let the technology take a first crack at that, saying, "Hey, Justin, your loan came back as this, and here's the things that we need to get from you." And maybe if they don't respond in a day or two, the technology hits them up again. But maybe you're setting a task for yourself to say, "Hey, actually, just call this person." Maybe that's that personalized touch. But you're not fully relying on yourself to say, "Oh, I'm on, maybe I'm on vacation, I'm out for the day, or my kid's sick. I'm going to make this call." The technology is going to, do it and kind of and start to check that box for you. Another great example would be on the lead conversion side, which I know we'll talk more about. But look, when like a lead comes over from a referral partner, let's say you're a loan officer and a realtor gives you a lead, says, "Hey, this person needs to get pre-qualified," and you call them and it goes to voicemail. And then where do you go from there? Are you going to remember and, to call them the next day? And how many times are you going to call them before you go back to the realtor and say, well, hey, I haven't been able to get a hold of this person. Well, that's an example of a workflow at Adium that we just totally automate. Like, we engage on your behalf with the reach out, text, and you can email or whatever, but just reaching out saying, hey, we'd love to set up time to chat with you. What's a good time? We keep engaging with them. And then finally, after, it's a week or two they haven't responded, we go back to the realtor and say, hey, I've reached out to this person 10 different times and in all these different ways. I've never heard from them. Would you mind reaching out to them? And then that referral partner thinks, oh my goodness, like, I can't believe this person took the time to make, 10 touch points with this person. And now are letting me know, like, when you look like a great partner there, and really the technology is doing that sort of on your behalf. Right. And so, there can be a happy medium here. You can decide where you want to insert yourself and where you want the technology to insert itself. But I know very few people on planet Earth that are going to make 5 follow-up phone calls 5 days in a row, especially a real estate professional who's, again, getting calls and picking up calls throughout the day, even if they don't know who's calling, right? And so I think we just have to be honest with ourselves about, we're not superhumans. Where is it that we can insert technology to really help us appear superhuman, or maybe take on a superhuman workload, if you will.
I believe that the only businesses that are truly profitable are those that are oversubscribed, meaning those that have more supply of customers than they do, or I should say more demand for customers than they do supply. That you think about a restaurant, you walk in a restaurant. I'm taking this from an author that I've studied from recently. You walk into a restaurant, if that restaurant's empty, you know that they're not making any money at that moment because there's staff, there's capital costs. It's only when there's a line in the lobby where you know that these people are actually making a profit. They're covering their costs, and they're able to potentially even increase their prices slightly to accommodate for the demand. And if we go by as service professionals, using that as a metaphor, to then consider that, like, well, I can only do the amount of business that I can get back to right away, and it's kept on sticky notes or in our brain. The reality is we're never actually going to be a very profitable, if at all profitable, business. We actually have to have the ability to be overpaid, which I think is what we're all wanting for, is to get more compensation, right, than we would if we were to just go work for somebody else. And the way to do that is that you have to serve more people, right? There has to be a line out your door. And you can't do that well without creating a bad reputation for yourself if you don't lean on technology. And if you don't, someone else will. Someone else is willing to take those customers and treat them and communicate with them as much as that customer wants, because they have the technology supporting them, right? Because they have the automations that are supporting them. Like you just described, to follow up that consistently with somebody. And the fact that most people really, in many cases, at least initially, prefer a text communication so that they can then set up a conversation that's more convenient. Like, so much of that can be done with automation, that I love that not only that you believe that, but that you can then really prioritize the conversations with those people who are worth that time, right? That deserve your full undivided attention. Meanwhile, all the other balls aren't dropping in the background. And the fact that you guys have built technology around that is absolutely beautiful, because that's what has to happen for us to have truly profitable businesses.
Yeah, and it's ultimately, you said it right. The restaurant analogy is a great analogy. I mean, why do you go to one restaurant versus another? Is it their marketing, or is it because maybe you've been and the experience was great, or you know someone that you trust and the experience was great? I mean, as a service provider, it's ultimately about the quality of the experience that's being provided. And, you know, why not use technology to help provide that best in class experience? Again, millennials are, buying homes more than anyone else right now. They want to be communicated via text, not via email. So why would you not text them, right? Why would you not use technology that's doing that? Maybe they want to understand, what's going on throughout the transaction process, like in real time, right? So as a file gets moved in Encompass, or something changes in Encompass, or whatever loan origination software system you use, why not, again, just let them know this is what's going on here, right? Same, by the same token of that, why not let the realtor on the transaction know what's going on here? In real time, sort of via text, or maybe some people are more old school. They want to be communicated via email. But again, that's all part of a great experience. And you're exactly right, Justin. Like, it is impossible to provide that experience on your own. Just think about how time intensive it would be to actually sit down and write out that text to the borrower and the co-borrower and the realtor and maybe the title or whoever on the transaction. It's a lot of time when a system can just do that for you. And of course, if they respond and as they respond and engage, then that's up for you to then kind of take that to the next level and engage with them. But you're exactly right. It's all about the experience, and that's what technology. I think for people that are a little shy of technology, we're not looking at technology to replace anyone here. We're just looking at it to be an extension to provide a better experience.
It gives people the communication that they need so that you can all get to the communication that you all want, right? Which are more deep conversations about, tell me why you're making this move. Tell me why you want to, choose this particular loan product. Like when you're like, ultimately as advisors, we need to actually be not just connecting with people at a psychological level or at a mental level, but at a very emotional level. Like that's what people want. That's what keeps us well paid. But we cannot do that if we're also sending out all the mundane updates. And yet people need the updates. So you either aren't going to, if you try and do it yourself, you're either not going to do it and you're going to have poor experience, or number two, you're not going to have enough customers for it to even matter. You're not going to be in business for long. Like you really, to embrace where things are going, you need to use technology again to really protect it to where you have time to have those deeper conversations with the right people. And I love the fact you guys have built that, right? It's pretty cool. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take a minute and just talk a little bit about Aidium. Again, this is a product that you use for mortgage loan officers. So again, our primary audience is real estate agents. However, we also serve at Pro Insight. Again, we help professionals to get their business from each other. And so if you are working with other professionals who you say, hey, look, I love the person, but man, they could sure use some of this because I've been tempted to go somewhere else because they don't have the updates that other people do, right? If your professional is in that spot where it's like, man, they could really benefit from this and really leverage themselves to a new level, then listen up, right? Because we're not only speaking to mortgage loan officers here, but those professionals that care about you and know you're awesome and just know that you need better technology. This could also very much apply to you for you to give a great referral to Aidium. So if you just give us kind of a quick snapshot of what Aidium kind of is and how it works, and I think you've probably already been doing that a little bit, but anything else that maybe we may have missed up to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the most important things to think about as a small business owner is sort of your funnel. And I know funnel is a buzzword in the sense of like a marketing funnel, whatever. And for those of you that you haven't heard of the funnel, the idea is you get 10 leads, and what are the different stages after that to how many people do you close a transaction with? So maybe on the lending side, it's you get 10 leads, 2 fill out an application, 1 funds or something like that. I think sort of looking at the funnel is critical, and having an awareness of that, because oftentimes, I think a lot of times we think, oh, well, I just need more lead flow, or I need more referrals, or I need to go buy some lists and send a bunch of people emails or buy online leads. And then the reality is actually, like, if we spend our time actually increasing our funnel, so maybe for every 10 leads we get, we close 3 transactions. That's a much better place for us to sort of spend our time. And so I think kind of at the heart of Aidium, we believe that, ultimately it's 3 things that are going to lead to a less leaky bucket or a more robust funnel. And that's, data. So it's this idea of having transparency into your funnel, knowing what's working, what's not working, where can you tighten up. Most people don't have that. And so we focus on the data side to give you that. And then it's automation. So like, again, we've been talking about automation, lead conversion. There's a lot of different, concepts here, but the idea is like, how do we automate some of these things for you to kind of tighten that up so you get a higher conversion rate. And then finally, it's adoption. Like if you don't use it, we've all seen powerful software platforms that are super confusing, and we know that even though we may need them, we'll never use them. And so at Aidium, we've focused on making it extremely easy for everyone to use and adopt. And there's a lot of kind of scripted content in there to kind of help you understand what automations you should be using, and it's just simple to turn on. So I think high level, that's our philosophy. Let's help you optimize that funnel. Let's help you provide a best in class experience, and those are kind of the 3 key tenets that we we work with around that. And so that's the why, kind of why we get up and do what we're doing at Aidium every day.
I love it. Yeah, I believe that, as you mentioned when we started the episode, right, is that this decision as to where people are going to live and raise a family and have their most intimate moments is a big one. It's huge, not only from an emotional standpoint, but a financial standpoint, and that the professionals that are involved in that decision matter, and they matter a lot. And if they're not careful, big tech is using these tools that we're discussing today at the highest level. And it creates such a convenience factor that although people might love you personally, if you can't give them the information that they need when they want it, there's a good chance, especially if this tech fees are lower than yours, that you will get moved out, that big tech will actually displace you from these client relationships. The way forward that big tech can't compete with is to have the kind of emotional connection, offer the kind of advisory service that you that sets you apart, that big tech can't copy. But then to couple that with this automation, like Spencer's taught us about today, when you couple that together, you become a force that can't be displaced. You'll have a long, profitable career for a long time. So excited about what you guys are doing. Spencer, thank you so much for coming on today and teaching us about these important principles that you guys have built into sounds like a great technology. I'm going to ask one more question here. You're a guy who's again impacted the world in phenomenal ways from an early age. You continue to do that now through building great technology. You are a big thinker, and that's why you're here on the show today. What does Spencer do to continue to be a big thinker, to continue to expand your possibilities? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, for me, it looks like we were located in Boulder, Colorado, so a lot of great outdoorsy things to do. I like to spend some time outdoors and kind of trail running, hiking, things like that to kind of get me out of so I'm not in front of a screen or at my desk, and I think that allows me to kind of take a step back and really think about the work that I'm doing and the impact that it has. And so for me, it's taking moments to unplug and giving my brain some space to think about other things than my inbox or a line of code or some angry customer or some really happy customer, whatever it is.
Yeah. The most successful people in the world that I've been around take time to think, right? It's not about just being in this frenzied world of get back to people, which again goes right back to the technology piece that we talked about, right? If we can have automation taking care of some of the more mundane conversations, we're able to be more thoughtful in the conversations that we are having and actually be able to be designing solutions that really change and move the needle for our clients. So good on you. I love the answer. So appreciate that very much. Thanks again for coming on the show today. How can people access Aidium and or give a referral to their preferred mortgage loan officer to go take a look at Aidium? What does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So our site is thinkaidium.com. So that's thinkaidium.com. You can request a demo, take a look at the different things that we're doing. We do have a number of realtors on the platform. It's flexible, so there might be some value there. Obviously, we're specifically designed for the LO, but we love to get feedback from realtors as well who look at it and say, "Hey, maybe you're missing these two things. We could use it," or if you did these things for my loan officers, that would be even better. So we love the collaboration. Again, I love what you're doing in terms of the ecosystem and so I think we love to hear from everybody that's in the ecosystem, even though I'd say we're fairly focused on making sure that the loan officers do the best job they possibly can.
Cool. Well, I feel like there's some great collaboration in our future. So appreciate it, Spencer. Again, thank you for helping us think bigger today. And to everybody listening here today, my final request is this. They're 3 simple words. You know what they are. And then they are go think bigger. Thanks again, Spencer. Appreciate you helping us do that today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It was great.
If you found value in anything that you heard here today, do me a favor and just take a quick screenshot of this episode. Tag me in it on social media. That will give you the heads up to create more content like this in future episodes. Also, if you are wanting to build your wealth advisory team in less than 30 days that gives you 2 to 4 professional referrals every month, go to proinsight.com or you can reach out